Can you imagine if you were really paying respects to the dead, you were someone's relative that was buried at the graveyard or whatever, and you saw this girl walking through at midnight with a knife just willy-nilly? What? Have you ever played Truth or Dare when you was growing up? Everybody has, I think. We all tried to kiss girls that didn't want to kiss us, or kiss guys that didn't want to kiss us. Whatever you into nowadays. As well as just do crazy things like eat bugs or worms or do crazy stunts. At any rate, we were all a victim of some weird dare at one time, and we were either forced to do the dare and take this dangerous or crazy stunt into action, or resist and be cast out as a loser or failure or whatever the heck people call people when they don't do dares. Or you could take the truth route, which sometimes was usually the easy way out, but as you got older, you start to realize that truth is sometimes scarier than dares. But everybody had the one crazy friend that always dared you to do the most crazy things, like on their level of crazy, you know? And we all chickened out at some point, and some of us actually tried to do these things that could result in either injury or sickness or who knows what. As we got older, nobody really plays Truth or Dare anymore because we realized, well, it's a scary game to play. Today we're gonna react to the dare.
One night in a small American town, a young girl threw a party and invited all of her friends from school. There was a large group of boys and girls, and as the night went on, they began telling scary stories. One boy said he had heard an urban legend about an old graveyard that was located near the girl's house. According to the story, an old woman had been buried in the middle of the cemetery, and there were rumors that she was a witch. They said that if someone stood on a grave at night, she would grab them and drag them down into hell. I would never go near that graveyard after dark, another boy said. You're all a bunch of morons, laughed the girl who owned the house. It's just a silly superstition. I can't believe you take it seriously. The boy who had told the story turned to her and sneered. It's all very well to be brave when you're safe and warm in your own house. I think you'd have a different attitude if you actually went down to the graveyard.
That's the crazy friend we all know and love. He's daring because he's not gonna be brave enough to do it himself.
It wouldn't make a difference, replied the girl haughtily. Okay, then prove it, said the boy. We'll all go down to the cemetery and wait outside while you go in and stand on the old witch's grave.
Of course he's
A grave doesn't scare me, said the girl. I'll do it right now. You'll have to prove you really did it, said the boy. Otherwise, you might chicken out. He took a knife from the kitchen drawer and handed it to her. Stick this knife in the grave, he said. Then we'll know you were there for sure. The group of kids set out for the graveyard, and when they reached the old iron gates, they gathered in a circle. All of them stared at the girl. She tried to pretend she wasn't scared, and she hoped that they didn't see her shivering in fear. With the knife clutched tightly in her hand, the girl walked through the old iron gateway and made her way through the darkened graveyard.
Can you imagine if you were really paying respects to the dead, you were someone's relative that was buried at the graveyard or whatever, and you saw this girl walking through at midnight with a knife just willy-nilly? What? You don't do that. The cops would probably shoot you. They'd probably just think you was a demon and they'd just shoot you on the spot. But can you imagine the sheer terror? Like, I mean, seeing a ghost naturally, or a witch. It's coming out of grave. Scary stuff, right? But IRL, somebody walking through a graveyard at night with a big kitchen knife, that's some horror movie stuff right there. You want to talk about scary? That's scary, partner.
In the moonlight, the tombstones and the trees cast strange and unnerving shadows. Eventually, she came to the old woman's grave. There is nothing to be scared of, the girl told herself. It's just a stupid story. Crouching in front of the headstone, she whispered, I'm not afraid of you. Then, she raised the knife above her head and thrust it into the earth. Take that, you old witch, she chuckled.
Wow.
The girl was about to turn and leave when she felt something holding her back. She couldn't move. Something was tugging on the hem of her dress and dragging her down. She was filled with terror.
Is it a stick or is it a witch's hand?
And flew into a panic. "Help!" she cried. "She's got me! She's got me!" When she didn't come back, her friends began to get worried. After a while, they cautiously entered the graveyard to look for her. They found her sprawled across the old woman's grave. She was dead, and her face was frozen in a silent scream.
What?
Without realizing it, she had plunged the knife through the skirt and had pinned herself to the ground. That was what had been holding her. The poor girl had been so terrified that her heart gave in, and she died of fright.
What the heck? That took a morbid turn. Holy cow, she did it to herself. It was no witch, it wasn't a stick. Can you imagine dying of fear? You gotta be scared. Yo, I have been scared before, and everybody knows your heart races, man. Like, it feels like it beating out your chest when you're really, really scared. Dang, that is some deep stuff, bro. Oh my god. Yo, I gotta say though, good little story. Thank you so much, IMR Scary Tales, for permission to use your animation. It was a really, really good story. Guys, make sure to check the links in the description below for IMR Tales' channel. And subscribe to this channel for much more reaction videos just like this and more to come. Listen, I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Don't desecrate any graves, okay? Leave the witches in the graves alone, especially at night. Don't bring any kitchen knives in the graveyard. You might get shot by somebody that thinks you're a devil. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.